Blessings to you all. This is Matt, Theology of Dance, and today is the Feast of the Most Holy Trinity. It is, as Father said today in Mass, it is the liturgy. It is the feast most feared by homilists the world over. How will I preach on the Trinity, says the priest or the deacon, because the Trinity is a mystery that no one can understand. Thankfully today, Father did keep his homily very short, but he was also very vague, and because in truth, the Holy Trinity is not the kind of mystery we act like it is. In other words, when I go to Mass and I hear the preacher deacon talk, it's clear to me that they don't understand what this mystery really is. So to begin with, I want to talk about mystery or the ocean as an analogy for this mystery. Growing up, I loved studying the ocean, especially I remember starting out watching documentaries starring Jacques Cousteau, the great French oceanographer who traveled the world over in his boat, the Calypso, and scuba diving everywhere that he went. Was a lot of fun to watch, and I watched various other documentaries as well into my adulthood. And so I understand a great deal about the ocean in terms of, I know a lot of facts about the ocean, right? I know the ocean is big, it's made of water, it's salty. I know that in some places it's very wavy, other places it's very calm. Some places it's cold, other places it's warm. It has coral reefs and deep sea trenches. It has whales and fishes and birds and plankton in it. So I know a lot of facts about the ocean. But I've only actually been in the ocean a handful of times. I went scuba diving once. I've been on a boat a few times, in the ocean a few times, but that's about it. So I don't really have a very deep relationship with the ocean. Now, I can contrast that with, say, a Pacific Islander who maybe goes fishing or dives for pearls, who's in the ocean every single day. He might not know about the deep sea trenches or about the migrations of whales or things like that. But his own particular bit of the ocean, he's very familiar, very intimate with. He has a very personal relationship with his part of the ocean. So, you can look at one part. I have book knowledge. He has personal knowledge of the ocean. And we can look at, or even Jacques Cousteau, who had both. But at the end of the day, any of us, even Jacques Cousteau, his knowledge of the ocean was very, very limited. And his experience of the ocean was very, very limited. There were many places he did not go, many places he did not experience. There were far more places he did not go, did not experience, than places he did go and experience. Had he lived many multiple lifetimes, he still would have much to know and understand and experience about the ocean. Now, the ocean is a lot like God. Right? There's so much about God that we cannot know and understand. And there's so much about God we can't know and experience. And just as the ocean is not something I fit inside of me, but that I enter into, God is something that does not really, the knowledge of who God is and the experience of who God is, it's not something that I fit inside of me, but rather that I fit inside of, that takes up my entire being. And God is a mystery in that way. There is so much to God, both in terms of his size, his breadth, his dimensionality, the detail about who he is, that we cannot take in. But nonetheless, we need to take in until we are full. This is God. This is the mystery of God. Right? But just as we can know that the ocean has certain things about it, that it's wet and made of water, that it's salty, there are certain things we know about God as Trinity, and we must know, and we must proclaim with conviction and live with conviction, or otherwise we're going to fail as Christians. Otherwise, we're going to fail to love. And so the first thing that I want to talk about is some heresies, and that is, now this will help us better understand the true teaching. So the first heresy is tritheism, the belief that there are three gods, a creator God, a redeemer God, and a sanctifier God. These three gods work together closely to do the work of loving mankind. This is not true. Okay. Conversely, there's something called trimodalism. Trimodalism is the belief that there is one God with three modes of doing things. So, for instance, there is a God, some days God is a creator, Other days he's a redeemer, and other days he's a sanctifier. Some days he's a carpenter, other days a doctor, and other days a delivery person. Okay, trimodalism, also a heresy. Finally, there is the true belief, which is Trinitarianism, three persons in one God. Not that one person redeems, one person sanctifies, one person creates. No, it's the belief that there is a Father who creates through the Son in the Spirit. There is a belief, we believe that the Father saves through the Son in the Spirit. We believe that the Father sanctifies through the Son in the Spirit. Everything is from the Father through the Son in the Spirit. Whatever it may be, God always loves from the Father through the Son in the Spirit. This is Trinitarianism. Now, I'm a dancer, right? Ballroom dance. And ballroom dance is a small T Trinity. Now, if you look at ballroom dance, you can see an image of the Trinity, an incomplete one, but nonetheless a very good one. The leader initiates, the follower responds, and they are united by the spirit of the music. Everything is from the leader through the follower in the music. Now, as the leader, I would never ever say that I am the entirety of the dance. I do feel as if I am more than just 1/3 of it, or that I experience more than just 1/3 of the dance. But there's a lot that I don't experience. For instance, I only see a small part of my follower, right? Whereas an audience member can see the entirety of her, right? I can feel my body, but I can feel her body through the connection. I can hear the music. So there's all these different elements from the different parts of the relationship that I am taking in, although I'm not taking in all of them. However, supposing that I could take in all the different parts, that I could see are, both from my viewpoint, also from her viewpoint, and from the viewpoint of all the audience members, supposing I could feel more intensely everything we were feeling, not just the movement of the body, but even the emotions running through my follower and through the musician. If I could do all of those things, I would be much closer to saying that I am the dance, right? That the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit together share the fullness of the dance, that their relationship with one another, right? God is those three persons and the relationship and the experience of that relationship, right? That all three things together is so unique, intimately brought together. This is who God is. God is Trinity. God is love. God is relationship. The fullness of it. The Father fully experiences what the Son experiences, and the Son fully experiences what the Father experiences. There's nothing held back. The communication is perfect, right? That the communication that I share in dance is very good now, but it's nowhere near as close as that relationship that God shares. Nor is there as much dimensionality to it, right? That I'm in 4 dimensions. We move in 3 dimensions plus in time, right? But God has so much more dimension to him than that. There's so much more detail to God than is in myself, the follower, and the music, right? And it's so much bigger, right? So there's no way that relationship of the Holy Trinity, that I can take that in. I can't even take in the entirety of my dance with my partner, much less the mystery of who God is, this Holy Trinity. But nonetheless, I know with conviction that God is 3 persons. I know with conviction that the Father loves through the Son and the Spirit. These things I know for sure. And because I know these things for sure, I also know about how I ought to love, say, in the realm of economics. The Church has many, many great encyclicals from the popes written on society and economics. Rerum Novarum, Laborum Exercens, Populi Progresso. I mean, there's multiple ones. They're all excellent. They all flow from Trinitarian relationship because the employer runs his business through his employees, and they're united by the product or service that they offer, as well as by the customers that they serve. Right? This is why it's so important as a customer to be ethical in your shopping, because you are the image of the Holy Spirit. If you're not ethical and loving in your shopping, you're blaspheming the Holy Spirit, right? So the church's teachings on economics are based in the Trinity. We all know that the family, the husband loving his wife in God's love, is an image of the Trinity. The man initiates, the woman brings to completion. Right? When a man creates, he doesn't do so by himself. When a man creates life, he does so through the woman in the love of God. Right? That, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and he was in the beginning with God, and through him all things came to be made. And without him nothing came to be made. All right? That the Father creates through the Son, and when the man creates through the woman, he's imaging this. Right? So marriage is Trinitarian. Education is Trinitarian. Right? That the teacher, brings the student to knowledge. Right? The teacher begins the act of learning. The student brings it to its fruition, and they're united by a spirit of knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Right? Trinitarian. So all of these different things, whether it be economics, the family, marriage, education, whatever it may be, spirituality, all of these things are Trinitarian. Small t trinities are all around us. Everywhere we look, there are small t trinities. Now, are they a perfect image of the Holy Trinity? Of course not. But that doesn't mean that if we look at enough of them, that we can't get a really good idea of who God is. And conversely, how to love, right? Because if you've been told all your life that a man and woman must love this way, guess what? You become a Trinitarian theologian. If you know the correct way to love, then you know God. If you know God, you know the correct way to love. And that's what the Trinity, that's what it's all about.